Public companies are capitalizing on Bitcoin. This is an extraordinary move. We're seeing these every day. There's a new announcement. We have a very supportive White House. As you can see, we have 12 cabinet members in this administration that are all pro-Bitcoin. Wall Street's embraced Bitcoin. We've now got 80 ETFs launched, $170 billion of value flowing into these ETFs. Just a few minutes ago, Coinbase announced that they acquired more Bitcoin this quarter, thousands of Bitcoin.
Michael Saylor says Bitcoin is going to $1 million, and over the next 8 minutes, he lists every single reason why. Strategy's Q2 2025 earnings call has finally been revealed. Click the like button, support the content. I love what Michael Saylor says about Bitcoin and crypto at the end. Listen.
I thought I'd start with a macro overview of the Bitcoin universe. And the first thing that I'll note is we have a very supportive White House, and that started with the establishment of the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, but it continues across the board. As you can see, we have 12 cabinet members in this administration that are all pro-Bitcoin. A year ago, we had one cabinet member who was neutral and 11 that were indifferent or uninterested and certainly not supportive. So this is a major change in the political landscape. Yesterday, the White House released a crypto policy report. It's about 150 pages long. I did a scan. I'm sure some of you have done a scan. The takeaway is that this administration is going to be very enthusiastic in its support of the entire crypto industry and the Bitcoin ecosystem. And in particular, some of the things they're doing include work in the area of taxation to cure unfair tax treatments of digital assets, and that includes relief for de minimis digital asset transfers like de minimis Bitcoin payments, and it also includes guidance that digital assets should not be included when calculating CAMT unrealized capital gains taxes or when calculating CAMT minimum taxes. And so we have the support of the administration on this, and that was made very precise in writing just yesterday, and this is an excerpt of it. I think this is just very positive for the entire crypto industry and very positive for Bitcoin, and of course it's very positive for the hundreds of companies that are starting to put crypto assets on their balance sheet. Wall Street's embraced Bitcoin. We've now got 80 ETFs launched, $170 billion of value flowing into these ETFs. These continue to pick up steam, and they're growing more powerful day by day. Public companies are capitalizing on Bitcoin. This is an extraordinary move, and of course we're seeing these every day. There's a new announcement, whether it's coming from a pure Bitcoin company or whether it's coming from a hybrid or just a random new entrant. But we've now got 950,000 Bitcoin that have been acquired by 160 different listed companies. And we look at the trend. We were the first in 2020. There were 2 at the end of the year. Then there were 33, 39, 43. There were 64 last year. And of course, as you look at this trend right now, 160 when we're not even to the end of 2025 is extraordinary. So we're in a hyper growth or hyper adoption phase for Bitcoin as a treasury reserve asset. Companies are racing to get into the Bitcoin 100. You can see there's even competition to track the Bitcoin 100 right now. And generally, any given week, there are 20 or more companies that are acquiring more Bitcoin. Just a few minutes ago, Coinbase announced that they acquired more Bitcoin this quarter, thousands of Bitcoin. So I see very positive trends here. And each of these companies could, in theory, acquire just as much Bitcoin or attempt to acquire just as much Bitcoin in a dollar value as we have acquired. Obviously, they won't get 3% of the Bitcoin supply, but you can imagine what happens when 100 companies are all competing to acquire as much Bitcoin as possible. The analysts are all starting to cover and track Bitcoin, and they have outlooks for Bitcoin. So if you're going to cover the 160 Bitcoin companies that have Bitcoin on their balance sheet, you're going to have to form an opinion about Bitcoin. And so you can see that the average end of the year price forecast of an equity analyst covering MSTR is 168,000. And so keep that in mind. 168,000 by the end of the year. That's the consensus of the analyst community that tracks our stock right now. Technology investors are looking for the next great thing, and everybody, the consensus trade is AI. Everybody knows AI is the next thing, but now they're starting to realize that Bitcoin is also the next thing, and it's being lumped as a technology transformation and a digital disruption. This is really positive because this is going to draw lots of Magnificent Seven investors into our space. Financial regulators are embracing Bitcoin. You see a new positive Bitcoin announcement just about every other day now from all parts of the government. Just a few days ago, the SEC released a memo allowing in-kind creation and redemption of Bitcoin ETFs. This is a huge deal. This is going to accelerate the development of the industry. They also loosened restrictions on options trading of Bitcoin ETFs. Paul Atkins just gave a speech and made a number of comments about the digital assets industry. It's clear that he's very supportive of innovation, very supportive of the crypto economy, very supportive of your right to self-custody. And this is a welcome development from the SEC. Another welcome development is the guidance that came from William Pulte to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, where he said they should prepare their businesses to count cryptocurrency as an asset in a mortgage. This is going to accelerate the institutional adoption of Bitcoin as collateral in the banking industry. There could be no more legitimate driver of the collateralization of credit with Bitcoin than the U.S. Federal Housing Authority. Capitol Hill is embracing Bitcoin. There are 3 bills. One of them, the Genius Act, has already been passed. Clarity is coming in September, and the Bitcoin Act allows for the government to acquire 1 million Bitcoin. These are picking up momentum. This is a positive development. U.S. states are also embracing Bitcoin. We've now got 3 strategic Bitcoin reserves, including one in Texas just recently that was funded with $10 million. So this is a trend that's growing. International governments are enthusiastic about Bitcoin, and we're seeing this everywhere in the world with politicians in Ireland and the UK and Pakistan, in UAE, in Ukraine, etc. All of them making pro-Bitcoin moves. The crypto industry has coalesced around Bitcoin. There used to be some conflict 2-3 years ago. I think the previous administration played the crypto industry against the Bitcoin industry, and now they've come together, and it's pretty clear that Bitcoin is viewed as the foundation of the entire crypto economy. And we see that as really, really constructive for the growth of the entire industry.
How do you expect the asset to continue a price increase at these levels that we've seen? I mean, can it keep that up over the next 5 years, over the next 10 years? And at what point do we see, winter coming again? Because that's been a permanent fixture of this asset class, right? It's gone from 0 or 1,000 to 20, and then back down to 3 or 4, and then up to 50, and then back down to 15, and now up to 110. Like, when does it drop again?
Winter's not coming back. We're past that. We're past that phase. If Bitcoin's not going to 0, it's going to $1 million. And you have all the evidence you need to determine that, right? The President of the United States has determined he supports Bitcoin. The cabinet supports Bitcoin. Scott Bessent supports Bitcoin. Paul Atkins has shown himself to be an enthusiastic believer of Bitcoin and digital assets. Ken Tez at CFTC feels the same way. The banks are going to custody Bitcoin. Bitcoin has gotten through its riskiest period. The accounting has been corrected. There's now only 450 Bitcoin a day available for sale by natural sellers. That's the miners. At this level, that works out to about $50 million of Bitcoin available for sale every day. If that $50 million is bought, then the price has got to move up to find any seller that's price sensitive. Now, if you do the math, you'll actually see the Bitcoin treasury companies by themselves are buying the entire natural supply.
Yeah.
BlackRock and the ETFs are buying another measure of that. And we've got nation state actors coming into the space. So I think when Bitcoin rallies, if it surges to 500,000 or $1 million, then maybe we could talk about it crashing down by $200,000 a coin. But at the current price levels, it only takes $50 million to turn the entire drive shaft of the crypto economy one turn. And you've got the Trump media organization announcing
Right.
$2.5 billion. You've got GameStop announcing 500 million. You've got my company that's raising billions and billions of dollars. So the writing is on the wall. Bitcoin's moving higher.